For kids with language difficulties, it can be even harder to follow instructions. So as parents, we can help them out by making some changes in the way we form our instructions. The first one is going to sound really obvious, but I know as a busy mom myself, I forget to do this a lot of the time. So I want to challenge you to be extra careful to make sure you have your child's attention before you give them an instruction. I know sometimes I'm cooking or doing something in a different room and I call out to my son, I folded your laundry, the pile's over on the table, please get it and put it away. Then half an hour later I walk by and there are the clothes. Ugh, so frustrating, right? But he'll say to me, I never heard you, Mom, or you didn't tell me to do that. And I realize he was so absorbed in his Lego activity or whatever it was that he was doing, he didn't even notice that I was saying. He didn't process anything that I had to say because he wasn't paying attention. So I may have avoided all the frustration if I just walked into the room where he was, said his name, made sure he was looking at me, and then gave him my instruction. So that's a really important one to remember. Another one that kind of goes along with that is then having the child repeat back the instruction. So what was it that I asked you to do? And you can check, did they actually understand it? Or did they miss a part? Is there something that I need to clarify so that they really get it? Having them repeat it back also helps them to remember it. And they can't use the excuse, Mom, you never told me that, because you together have gone over the instruction. Another important reminder is making sure that we don't overload our kids. So we don't want to give them 5 things that they need to do. Why don't we start with 1 or possibly 2? When that's completed, then we can give them the next step of the instruction. So we want to break it into manageable chunks so that we set our child up for success. Those are really easy things that you can do. I also love giving helpful feedback. So after my child has completed part of the instruction or maybe all of it, I won't just say good job or thanks for listening, because that doesn't really help them much other than maybe make them feel a little bit good. But when we say, oh, I love how you were so careful to make sure that you did this, or I love that you got up right away and started following the instructions so that you remembered to do it. Great job paying attention. Something like that can be a little bit easier. Or I love how you used your packing list so that you could make sure that you had all of the belongings that you needed to take to that sleepover party, right? When we give explicit feedback like that, maybe the next time our child has to pack something for a sleepover, they'll remember, oh yeah, that strategy I used before, to look at the list and make sure that I had everything I needed, maybe for the field trip, if it's a different situation. Maybe that will stick with them just a little bit more because we've given that feedback. And then we run into the issue of following instructions when it's homework time, when our child has an assignment that they need to do. And so on kind of the same vein as what we've already been talking about, breaking down those instructions into steps. So what's the first thing that you need to do? Okay, have you done it? Let's check it off. What's the second thing that you need to do? Sometimes we need to rewrite the instructions for our child so that it's a little bit clearer and it's more step by step rather than long sentences that have multiple parts to it. And so making sure that our child understands each step, that they can check off each step as they go to make sure they didn't miss a part, and making sure that they understand all the words in the direction. That's also really important, because sometimes our kids with language challenges don't know the difference between identify, justify, compare, those types of words that we have in directions. So making sure that they really understand what it is that those words mean can also be really important. So there's lots of things that we can do as parents. The last one I don't want to forget to share with you is being careful about the words that we use regarding timing. So if we say to our child, before you do this, do that, we're not necessarily setting up our child for success. Just say first this, then that. It's a lot clearer and there's a lot less room for confusion. I hope this helps. Best of luck.